Welcome to the Corner Pocket, home of the best handicapping breakdown videos in the game. I'm Auzzy Scooper. Next up is going to be the early Sunday game between the Miami Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Miami quietly 8-2-1 against the spread in their last 11, and that is coming after a beatdown to New England last week. Also, 9-1 in the last 10 have gone over. Pittsburgh been hot as of late, but still 5-5-1 in their last 11. Still, people see the talent. They know what kind of players these people have. They all own them on their fantasy teams, but for some reason, people just still don't get it. This team is not a joke. They will win the Super Bowl. That will be part of this video. This is not only a Pittsburgh will give Miami Dolphins a thrashing. This is also the Pittsburgh Steelers at 8-1 currently. At one point was 22-1, but at 8-1 is the play to win the Super Bowl. 12 reasons why the Pittsburgh Steelers will dismantle the Miami Dolphins. First off, they're as healthy as they've been all season. Second of all, revenge, rematch from the Week 6 game. They've made some personnel adjustments. They have multiple mismatches. They also have an O-line mismatch. They're also one of the best first quarter scoring teams in the league, and Miami's one of the worst. Their third down offense is great. Miami's is not. Their red zone defense is great. Miami's is not. It's a cold weather game for a Florida team traveling to Pittsburgh against a team who has some great home road splits. 10th, they got an advantage in the kicking game. They have an extra week to prepare. They have the better coach as far as big game. I like Gase for the future, but I like the coaching edge for tomorrow. Also, it's a little bit of a sequel. I'll touch on that to wrap it up. First off, as healthy as they've been all season. Just a little touch on something. The Pittsburgh Steelers last season, they had the eventual world champion Denver Broncos down by 7 with the ball, traveling into the red zone before Fitzgerald Toussaint coughed up the ball. Peyton takes them on a 10-play, 72-yard drive, running the ball down their throat, and the rest is history. Denver wins the Super Bowl. Now, the crazy part is Pittsburgh, they were playing without the best receiver and running back combo in the game in Mile High and had the champs beat. It's hard to comprehend. And the crazy part about this unit this year is that they get to welcome Martavis Bryant back next year. Watch out 2018, but they're still locked and loaded, ready to go for 2017. If they went back-to-back, I'd be far from shocked. Secondly, this is the first time that the Killer Bees will ever be on the field simultaneously for a playoff game. Do you think they will be a little hyped up? I think so. Now, this is going to be a revenge rematch from the Week 6 game where Miami just beat down Pittsburgh 30-15, but the personnel on the field in that Week 6 game compared to what you're going to see tomorrow, night and day. Left tackle Marcus Gilbert was out. Linebacker Ryan Shazier was missing the first start of his career. Jay Ajayi rushes for over 200 yards. Big Ben gets hurt in the second quarter. It was just one of those, you look at the box score, look at the scoreboard, and you say, this team won by 15 early in the season against this team, and now we're going to give them more than 10 points? This is crazy. Give me the 10.5. Give me the 11. Well, there's a reason why. This Pittsburgh Steelers team, they do what good teams do. They get better as the season goes on. Made some personnel adjustments. Linebackers Jarvis Jones and Anthony Chiquillo were not cutting it. Boom, out. In comes James Harrison, and then a healthy Bud Dupree out of Kentucky, who the world still doesn't know what kind of burst this man has off the edge. A little bit like Atlanta's Vic Beasley, very similar style. The guy can create some havoc. Now also, William Gay, veteran corner, and Robert Golden at safety, both got the boot. They're on the bench. In comes two rookies that can really play some football, Artie Burns and Sean Davis. Both have had great seasons as rookies, and this Pittsburgh defense has been different in the second half of the season. Also, Cameron Hayward, one of the best run defenders in the league, has been out for the season for Pittsburgh. Stephon Tuitt, an elite defensive tackle out of Notre Dame, will play a big role in stopping that running game for Jay Ajayi, and I think he will be ready to do it. Had a great postseason last year. Took the last 2 weeks off to freshen up for this game. I think he'll be playing with some massive energy. Now, as far as these multiple mismatches, the Pittsburgh Steelers with Le'Veon Bell, a guy that can kill you in a multitude of ways, going up against the number 22 rush defense in the league. This Miami team can rush the quarterback. Their secondary is pretty decent, but they have some issues there as well I'll touch on. But the run defense really has some major flaws. Now, Antonio Brown, you saw it last week against the Baltimore game. 2 weeks ago, Week 17 was the bye where they just kind of rested their starters. But against Baltimore, they really just tried to create the run game the whole first half. And then finally, when they opened things up and started getting AB involved, I still don't think anyone in the league can guard him when it's 3rd and 4 and Big Ben just says, hey, B, get open, I'll find you. In this contest, Miami will be without their best corner, Byron Maxwell. So that gives Antonio Brown a little bit more situation to take advantage of him. And this is a team that's, it's going to be a pick-your-poison situation. They're very vulnerable over the middle. Ladarius Green will be back to play. Eli Rogers, he missed some time. He's now healthy. It's really just scary how many weapons Big Ben has. Now, as far as offensive line, last year, when the Killer Bees weren't healthy, neither was center Maurkice Pouncey, all-pro for Pittsburgh. Now, his twin brother, one of the two, Mike Pouncey from Miami, also a stud center, he is out. Maurkice for Pittsburgh, he is playing. So Mike is out, Maurkice is playing. So we have the edge as far as what Pouncey's healthy. The backup, Craig Urbick, kind of a young guy, not the best center, actually drafted by Pittsburgh. He will be playing. So you got a team without their starting center, similar to like a J.J. Watt thing where he gets hurt early in the season and people aren't going to harp on it later in the year. But losing your center is a big deal, especially when you get against these big moment games where the pressure is a little bit bigger. Now, this Miami team, one of their fortes is getting after the quarterback. Cameron Wake, a couple other veterans. Pittsburgh, number 2 offensive line in the league, really protects Ben. They're going to be one of the few teams that can really match up with that Miami pass rush. And with doing that, it's going to make it a long day for this Miami defense. First quarter scoring, this Pittsburgh team, they love to jump on you. Number 2 in the NFL in first quarter scoring, 5.9 points per first quarter. Miami 31st at 2.6. Now, if you have a running game like Jay Ajayi and you have a 32-year-old backup quarterback like Matt Moore, I don't think it's ideal to start down 7-0, 14-0, or even 21-0 in the first quarter, and I think that's what will be the case here. Third down offense, Pittsburgh, number 12 in the league, but it's a deceiving number because of all the time Big Ben missed, all the time that Le'Veon missed the first 4 games. They haven't been really a unit yet. As far as I'm concerned, all teams are healthy. After Brady and now that Gronk's out, you can even make the argument Pitt's ahead of them, but Pitt's, to me, the number 1 third down offense in the league. Big Ben has a propensity to find guys when it matters, make plays, carry on a little bit longer. Also, Miami, another area where they struggle, 25th in the league on the money down. Next up, the power of the 4-point play. Learn this from Michael Lombardi. When you get down to that red zone and it's 3rd and goal, the difference between 7 and 3, them 4 points, that's the difference between winners and losers. Pittsburgh, number 4 red zone defense, 2016-17. Since 2015, opponents who get in the red zone on them average 3.74 points per game, number 1 in the NFL. You saw it on Thanksgiving night against Indy, got inside the 5 3 or 4 times, came away with like 3 points. Now Miami, number 21 in the league in red zone defense. So if you get down there, look for them to punch it in with just so many different weapons. Now, Miami went on a nice 6-0 run there, which got them back in the playoff picture. During that run, 4 home games, 2 in Cali. Then they played the 1 cold game in Baltimore. They get beat 38-6. Honestly, it's a damn shame that Baltimore's not in the postseason and that we have to sit here and watch Miami instead. But hey, we saw it today with Houston and Oakland. Sometimes the best teams don't make the playoffs. Now, Big Ben, as far as quarterbacks are concerned, it's Drew Brees-esque with the home road splits. He's a different guy. The numbers are staggering on the road. And also, if you look at his numbers this year, it seems as if he's almost bored. Like when these games against Cleveland and, it's almost like they're just running the ball, buying time. It's almost like the Pittsburgh Steelers have been hustlers. You come to the pool hall and the guy sits there and he kind of always just wins by 1 ball and you don't quite know how good he is. But then when it comes down to it, his ceiling is higher than everyone else. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are the pool hall hustlers. Now, next up's the kicking game. Chris Boswell kicked the game winner last year in the playoff game for Cincinnati. A little bit of experience with the bright lights. 21-25 on the year, 36 for 36 on PATs, 40 yards and plus. Tough place to kick. Pittsburgh, 40 yards up, 12 for 15. Good kicker, type of guy you can trust it if there's an opportunity here at the end of the first quarter, first half to cover a spread. He's a guy I trust. Now, Andrew Franks from Miami, 16 for 21, young kid, second year, missed 4 PATs in his first 2 seasons. Also, 40 yards and plus, doesn't have much of a leg, 2 for 5. So if Miami has a drive, they get to the 30 or so and it stalls, might come away with no points and give some good field position to Pittsburgh to just keep hammering and putting their foot on the throat. Now, also, Pittsburgh, extra week to prepare. Week 17 versus Cleveland, the game didn't mean anything. They got ready. Le'Veon and AB just sitting there on the sidelines. Read an article about them with Ben doing a little bit of extra prep work on different hand signals and stuff. And I'm sure these are things that will come in handy when they go to Arrowhead next week for a dandy of a divisional matchup. Then Tomlin. Terry Bradshaw recently made some interesting comments regarding his caliber as a coach, more calling him of a cheerleader. The guys responded about wanting to make a statement that Mike Tomlin was a real deal coach. Now, one thing nobody can argue, the guy's a big game coach. He's a master motivator. Not quite sure how good he is as X's and O's, but when it comes to the big games, week 1 against Washington Monday night, they showed out. Week 4 or 5 against Kansas City on Sunday night, they showed out, just jumping on teams early, showing what kind of team they are. Bright lights, Pittsburgh rises to the occasion, the anti-Cincinnati Bengals. Now, lastly, I touched on it earlier. This game right here is just to a T a sequel to the Baltimore thrashing 38-6 that Miami went through. Pittsburgh jumps on them. 21-0 in the first quarter. Maybe it's 14 and they don't get to 21 till early in the second. But if it's 21-0 first quarter, don't be shocked. 28-0 at halftime. Final, Miami gets a late one with Devontae Parker. Final 35-6 Pittsburgh. Scoop of the week. Top play, confidence meters at 10. Put some funds on it. Scooper Dupe, just doing what I do.